Hey everyone, welcome to the Cripescast. I'm your host, Charlie Behrens, and we are brought to you by Everlight Solar. Hey guys, today my guest is Chef Adam Pawlak. He is the owner of Egg and Flour in Milwaukee. You may have seen him on Hell's Kitchen, season 19. He was on Super Chef Grudge Match on the Food Network. He's done a bunch of other shows. He was best chef in Milwaukee. I can talk. And best new restaurant in 2019 and 2020. He's a great guy. He's a buddy of mine. And we are talking all things Milwaukee today, all things food, all things developing, what it takes to develop a food scene in a city. And we had a really good time. He's going to come up in a second. Before we get there, I want to remind you we're still raising money for Doctors Without Borders. We've got a place for you guys to donate in the show notes. You can just follow their website there, or just go right to doctorswithoutborders.org, or follow them on social media. All right, ladies and gents, now it is time for my conversation with Chef Adam Pawlak. So you got a new dog. I mean,
the dog's here. He had to come.
And what'd you name him again? Alfredo?
Alfredo.
That's a great name for a little wiener.
Yeah. And
dog.
He's the pasta, mascot at Egg and Flour. So he doesn't know it yet, but he goes in there quite a bit. And he's just loving life. He's like the most chill puppy I've ever seen. He's only 4 months and he only barks when he wants something.
That's awesome, man. I can't wait to see what he's going to pee on in the studio. I'm guessing the driftwood, because I'm sure that I think there's some special smells on it.
Or he's going to pull the driftwood like it's his, and then you lost a piece of driftwood in your studio.
That'd be hilarious.
We emptied him out before he came, so he should be good.
Okay.
Maybe he needs some brandy or something.
Yeah, no worries. Any way we do this, he's going to try and jump it, I think.
I want to see him do it.
Man.
There we go.
Oh, nice. Got over it. God, he's cute.
His 2-inch legs.
He's way too cute, man. That's tough, because now you're a dog owner of a very cute dog.
Yep.
And so it's going to get to a place. I mean, you're a well-known guy. You're a well-known guy in the culinary world, in the Milwaukee scene.
Yes, sir.
But now you're going to find out that people don't care about your name. People aren't even going to look at you.
They don't care. They do not care. They just want the dog, his name, his age. It's like he's got his own Hinge profile maybe for other dogs already.
But this is how it is. Anytime you got a cute dog, like eyes go right to the dog. Like, oh my God. Oh, he's so cute. Oh my gosh. What's his name? Don't break eye contact from the dog. You could be anyone. You could be like
Brad Pitt.
Yeah, you could. What's his name? Alfredo. Oh, that's adorable.
That's the best name ever.
How old is he?
Yep. That's pretty much how it goes. You
Yeah.
sound like all the girls that come up and say hi to Alfredo.
I know. And then they don't even look at you as you're leaving.
And I'm like, I'm the owner. I'm almost as important as the dog. Maybe not.
No, I mean, you are the one keeping this dog alive. So yeah, you're very important.
Which people don't think about when they get a dog. It's like, you are responsible for keeping something alive.
How does that feel for you?
It's good. The reason other than his cuteness, obviously, but the reason I got him is to calm my life down a little bit and to have some structure. Because before him, it was just chaos. It was just can go out whenever, could do whatever, say yes to all the plans. And now he's a good out for me too. I can say no to so many things and be like, hey, it's the dog's fault. It's not mine.
Isn't that funny that is that a Midwest thing that you need to get like you can't just say no. You can't just say what you authentically feel.
You know how this goes. And leaving somewhere is the same way. With him, I can just be like, I'm out of here and go right away. As for you, you have to say, I'm out of here 25 times.
Yes.
And you're still there.
I have to do that long goodbye. Especially with our mutual friend, Graham Kessel. He's a
shout out to Graham.
He can keep you at a place for a long, long time.
Oh, yeah. He introduces you as you're leaving.
There it is. First pee.
Pee. I got the spray. I brought the whole doggy pack.
Right. It looks like he needs a little bit more water, judging on that color right now. That looks to be like he was up night drinking a little bit,
Some Barron's brandy. He had too much. It was a long night.
Hey, quick question. First of all, this is coming out on the week that we are doing the Christian Yelich charity event.
Yep.
So can you kind of let the audience know what you're doing there and anything else to expect at the event. And can they still get tickets? Do you know?
So I know that you can still get tickets to the concert. The VIP is sold out. But what I'm responsible for is I've been friends of the family of Colin and Christian and everyone that's involved in this thing for a while now. And they wanted, it's called Experience Milwaukee. So they wanted someone that could get all these great restaurants together, because there's so many people coming to town for this that aren't from here, that they wanted a plethora of different food and culture and restaurants that are around the city. So I kind of, made the calls and got people involved. Not that it's hard for them to say yes to want to do this. It's for some great charity work, and it's going to be a blast. But yeah, we're going to have Modern Maki and La Dama and Discourse Coffee and Truck Stop and Flower Girl and there's a lot. And you can still get tickets. You just have to go to the Yellow Home Plate Instagram or website. And the concerts, you're emceeing, that, right? Or have you not? Did you put that in your calendar? You're going to be there, right?
I'm going to be there for sure. I'm not exactly sure what we're doing. I love it. He's chewing on the driftwood
There
now.
we go.
Yeah, it's good. That's going to give another dynamic to the driftwood. So that's nice. Dogs are amazing.
We need to take him down to the lake and he can just go crazy and pick out his own.
He'll go find one.
And Scotty McCreery and Nicotine Doll concert at the Riverside, right down the street from where we're doing the VIP. So I think it's gonna be amazing.
It's gonna be awesome. I'm excited. I don't fully know the extent of the emceeing stuff. I don't know if it's an in and out kind of thing, like introduce each guest or whatever, but I'll figure all that out.
Sure.
Kind of do it on the fly a little bit. And then if people want to get tickets, they go to, we're going to put that in the show notes. And
the Yelich Home Plate Foundation, probably website or Instagram.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. That's awesome, man. So give people sort of a sense of how you got your start. Let's take us to the origin story.
We're going to the back, all the way back, or how far do we want to go?
I want to take it back to how you grew up and sort of where you first discovered your love for the culinary arts.
Yeah. So I'm 75% Sicilian. So food, obviously, right away. Is a huge part of our family. Like holidays, Sundays. I know that sounds kind of cliche, but that's a real thing. Like a Sunday dinner or having family over or just being around food all the time. My mom, Rosalie, great cook. We can give her a little shout out. I would say home chef, but definitely did the Midwest. Like we call it the 25 rotation. You're probably familiar with this, where you just eat the same 25 things just in order as it comes around, as your mom knows what to do. That was the big thing. Like we didn't go out to eat a lot. So it was like, if she's going to be in the kitchen cooking, that's where I learned a lot and kind of got inspired. But it took a little bit. Every restaurant or every job I've ever had has been in a restaurant. But it took till about 18, 19 when I was like, hey, I want to do this. I'm comfortable in this world. I bought a bunch of cookbooks, really like dug deep into it, where it's like, this isn't just a job to buy some Pokemon cards or something. Right. This is what I want to do. And at that point I did the Bartolotta thing. So I was at the airport at the Bartolotta restaurants. And that's when I was really took it seriously, moved my way up. The chef at the time, Robin, she was like, hey, there's nothing left for here. I'm not leaving anytime soon. The chef's not leaving anytime soon. You need to go spread your wings. And that was a big moment. And she's always helped me and mentored me and really beat me up in the kitchen to kind of get that old school way of training. And then from there on out, it was just I want more money. I want more knowledge and to learn more stuff. And I went to this restaurant called Turner Hall Restaurant, which was reopening down when the Bradley Center was still around.
Yeah.
And there was my first legit mentor, Chef Tommy Pashong. He was running that.
Hang on just a second.
Oh, he's pulling your whole set.
Yeah, he's doing the whole thing. Hey, Pooch, you don't want to eat that. I had to bleach those.
We don't know if they're set.
Might make you sick, pal. Yeah, he might. I just don't want him doing just bleach. When you make the driftwood stuff, you got to
clean it up a little bit.
Yeah, you drown it in bleach. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how much of that bleach is.
He's got a tough stomach. You'll be okay.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna find out.
I'll call you.
I don't want to be responsible for killing Alfredo.
No, it's okay.
But sorry, I interrupted you. What were you?
No, that's okay. So then Tommy Pashong, Turner Hall Restaurant, and we were really killing it. And it was a way for me to learn.
Oh, yeah.
You want to go down.
Oh.
Don't go over there.
I'll be fine.
Does he have a toy in his bag?
Oh, yeah. He's got everything.
I want to grab a toy out of there and we can...
Yeah, or give him, if you give him a treat, I mean, it's
What's
done.
this?
Let's bribe him with a treat
With a
and
cheeseburger.
toy. Oh, there he goes. Did you just give him the toy that makes noise?
He's probably too small to
It's-
like actually make noise.
Yeah, I don't think that one's going to make too much noise, but here
It's
we are.
hilarious, man.
So,
all right,
yeah,
sorry.
so that's when I learned like the real basics, soups and stocks and basic things, and really like taking on a foundation. Because I mean, that's the most important thing. It was him being with Tommy Pashong was essentially going to culinary school and getting paid for it and not having to do like the 7 a.m., going to school all day and catching up on everything. It was just my way, because I never went to culinary school. I don't know if you were going to ask that, but
Well, I was. And in fact, I think I read somewhere that you didn't, or maybe we had talked about it or whatever, because I know that there are many paths to getting to do what you do, but usually it does involve like culinary school, does it not?
I would say the old, the old way of doing it, it's like go to culinary school, go get a mentorship, or do like they call it a staging, where you go work at a restaurant almost for free and just learn things. Nowadays, there's so many different ways. My older brother, Alex, he went to culinary school and I didn't. It was kind of different routes, but here we are. And I think if you just find someone really good to learn under and take it seriously and work hard, and a ton of studying outside of work, I didn't learn everything that I know just at the restaurants I worked at. It's a lot of books and research. And, I'm in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We have a lot of good stuff here, but there's a lot out there in the world, especially in the culinary world, that you should really like kind of look into if you're going to take it seriously. And that's what I did a lot of the time. And now here we are. And I don't say culinary school is like something to stay away from. I think it's great. I think it is that foundation, and you can learn a lot of great stuff, but it's not the end all be all if you don't go.
Right.
Yeah.
No, and I think that's good for, I think, especially people who may or may not have the money, may not have the finances to,
Or the time.
or they're already working in a kitchen and they're trying to plan sort of their career and how to do it. I mean, it's
what I always say is like get paid to play, or pay someone to learn.
oh,
Hey,
come here, Pooch.
hey, buddy, go by Charlie. If you give him one treat, he'll follow you forever. It's in that little turquoise bag. Go get it. See, he already knows. You touch the backpack, it's open. You can load him up.
Yeah.
Here, get it.
Oh,
He'll stay with you if you got treats for sure.
That's hilarious.
Damn it, Alfredo.
So, what is like you take it from, you're working in a kitchen, you're getting this experience, but in order to make it your own thing, that's got to take a different level of confidence. And where were you sort of age-wise? Where were you mentality-wise that allowed you to kind of jump from one thing to another?
Yeah, so we'll go quick. So obviously, Tommy Pashong, I was the lead line cook over there. He said, hey, you're ready. Go do more stuff. So from there, I went to a restaurant called Portugal back in the day. They had a lot of trouble with chefs and getting food right and all that. And they kind of brought me in to say, hey, we need a sous chef. And I think this was like their code word of being like, we just need you to do everything and kind of fix on what's going on. And I ended up being there for 3 years, but I started at like 23 years old as my first sous chef job. We were running the Edelweiss boats back then when they had them. So we were doing all the food and dinners, plus a restaurant that was doing, 2 million plus, and just super busy, same crew and all that. And I had that job for a while and learned a lot. And after 4 months of being there, they actually were looking for an executive chef. And they were like, oh, well, you could take the job or we'll hire someone above you. And I was like, well, I've been doing the job. I know the space. This would be a good opportunity. And I went and took the executive chef job at then like 23 and a half, because it was only a little bit when I was there, which was probably too quick. Nowadays people think like, oh, it's all about just being the chef. But if I could redo it, I would stay being, a sous chef or a cook way, way longer and maybe work in some other countries or some other states or cities and learn some more.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what kind of started the next move, which was Sebastian's in Racine. Really good top 30 restaurant for a long time, always doing well. And I humbled myself and I said, hey, I'm going to stop being executive chef. I need to learn more. I'm not learning from anyone. That's the problem is when you're at the top, you don't learn a lot. I mean, you learn things from your employees and your kitchen crew and your sous chef and all that. But really taking it to the next level, I said, hey, I'm going to go take this sous chef job. It's more chill job. You're not the boss, but way more intense and way more knowledge that needed to be learned. So I kind of stepped down and I was there for almost 2 years, and that was under Scott Sebastian and their chef and all them down there. And that's when I learned a ton of stuff that like I knew it was out there, but it was nice that they made me do it. So I was the chef. So I was breaking down fish. We had a farm in the back that we had to come early to work and actually tend it and learn how to like grow our own food and use that in our menu, and breaking down meat and doing sauces and stocks. And I mean, I was in there 3 or 4 hours before anyone else showed up. So it was really nice to take a step back from being like the head chef, executive chef, whatever.
Well, that right there, I know you're still going on this, but that's so cool on a number of levels. One, that you had your ego sort of in check at a place in your career. I think like young, you were what? 23,
I would say about
started?
25 at that point.
25.
Yeah.
So at that stage,
you have to.
I know, but I feel like at that stage, like you hit that main chef, you get that title, and so much in your 20s, I feel like is about trying to make yourself appear sort of cool or doing better than you are in front of other people.
Of course.
And a big part of that is your job title.
Yep.
So to sort of have the I guess love for the art to say, I need to learn more and do that. Was that an easy no-brainer thing for you, or was there some of that like ego check, or what are you going to tell people? Or does this look like a demotion?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this was like, it was like, I'm changing jobs. I'm not going to be the executive chef, but this restaurant is, higher caliber. So it's kind of like evened its way out. But for me, I didn't even care at that point. I was doing that for so long. I had 15 kitchen crew, and there's 20 front of house, servers, bartenders. And I was like, I kind of want to just step back and be on the line and learn and not have the responsibility of all that. But I would say for me, it was like a good change for me. And it was something where I was like, if I don't do this, I'm just going to be at a crossroads where it's like, this is what I know. And I'm either going to be at this restaurant for a really long time and just keep doing the same thing, or it's going to be really difficult to walk into another kitchen as an executive chef or take a job and really know that I don't know enough. I would rather demote myself and learn more. It'd be less embarrassing than going to a kitchen as the executive chef or applying for it. And then they're like, all right, you have to do this, this, and this. And I'm like, well, I don't know how to do any of this, because every kitchen's different,
Right.
Even if you're the best chef in the world, no matter what kitchen you're in, they have their own routine, their own way of doing things, their own menus, all that kind of stuff. So it's not like you jump in and you're like, oh, I'm a programmer. I can program anything, at a different job or whatever. It's like, no, you have to learn the restaurant as you go. So the ego was in check. I was really excited. I ended up being there a long time. Loved the decision. That was the decision that like really helped a lot. Like I can say thank you to them at Sebastian's. And that was just a really good decision. You look back when you're like, hey, maybe I don't take this gig, or maybe I do, and it's not the best or it's not the most money ever, but I know it's going to help me later on. That was the one that I remember in the career, is just going from executive chef to sous chef, learning a bunch. And I was there for a while. And then I got a call from a buddy that was opening a nightclub style lounge on Jefferson Street. So like Cathedral Square area. And they needed some consulting work because they wanted to do like food early on, Chicago style. Then it kind of like turns into a club later on. And I was like, you know what? I've been at Sebastian's for a while. I've been grinding ever since, I wouldn't say 14, I would say 16 to 18, from there on to, that's 7 years of working a lot and saying no to a lot of things like fun things and friends and parties, all that kind of stuff. And I was like, you know what? This isn't going to be as intense. It's going to be fun. It's something brand new. It was a good time to get in because it was brand new. I could do the menu. I could hire who I wanted to. I could do things how I wanted to. And I was there for about a year and a half. And as you know, all good things come to an end. They were like, we are more of a nightclub than we are a restaurant.
Right.
And they were like, hey, we're still great friends. And it was just something that I was like, all right, it was kind of a career break. It was kind of like a vacation from the 150-degree kitchen, 100-hour a week kind of deal. And when it came to that point, I was like, all right, now it's time to like find something. So I had a lot of options, but they had to be smart decisions. I was thinking about going to the Pfister and being a chef under a mentor chef friend of mine. I was thinking about moving. Like that would have been the time that I would move to Chicago, New York, Arizona, Cali, something like that, where I'm like, I don't have anything keeping me here. Right. Or do I stay here and find something? And at that point, I took a job at Black Sheep, which is in Walker's Point on 2nd Street. And that's when I kind of came in and they told me dear friend, he's not the owner anymore, but Wes Shaver, shout out to him, to kind of say, hey, we want you to put your own style on this. We want you to change our restaurant a little bit and get things in order, whether it's labor, food cost, we want to be able to do some more stuff. And I came in, I ended up being there almost 3 years. We had the best brunch in the city. And that's when my style, like you were talking about, it's hard to kind of like break out, but that's when my style started coming. Like if I would post a picture or someone would post a picture on Instagram or whatever, they knew it was my food. Or I would do tasting menus at nighttime where people could book with me and say, hey, I want to do 5-6 courses in the restaurant. I made a menu just for them while the restaurant was still going. And it was like a special setup for them. And that's when I started being like, hey, this is my style. This is what I want to do. That was the time I got an Instagram. I didn't even know what Instagram was until then.
But I mean, so you get to this point where you spend years and years doing it. And then at that point you develop sort of a distinctive style and you bring up Instagram. Like if you're trying to be a chef these days, how important is social media? In comedy, I would say it's very important. It's how you're going to book all your stuff. If you can bring people, you sell it. Is it the same thing with?
Yeah. I mean, for me, for being a chef, I don't think you have to do it, but it's a good way to get your food out there and the things that you're doing to everyone, not just your city, not just the followers of the restaurant or of you, but it's a way to get noticed and to get gigs and to meet other people. Like it's a lot easier nowadays to send a message to like your favorite chef, whether they respond or not. It's still cool to say that you have access to them.
Yeah.
Like, or, whoever you look up to in the comedy world, it's like, you could probably send a DM and like, hey, I reached out to them.
Right.
Back then, it's like, hey, I would love to meet them one day or whatever. And you'd have to run into them or you'd have to go fly and go eat at the restaurant in hopes that they were there. But now it's a little bit easier. But
how everybody like sits here and takes a picture with their food at first?
Yes.
As a chef, they eat with their eyes, as Colleen likes to say?
Phone eats first.
Phone eats first, right?
Phone eat first, yes.
Phone eats first. So does that change? Like, is there more attention than there historically has been on the physical appearance of food, or has that always been a huge part?
It depends on the restaurant, the owner, and the chef. If chefs are more in this modern age and they're thinking like, hey, my food's going to be on Instagram a lot, I should probably make it nicer. Sure. I like it because it gets eyes on it from whoever that customer base is. And if they're taking a nice video or picture, they're getting it out there for me. It's free marketing, free promoting. And that just makes you want to make better looking food. I've seen stuff on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, and I'm like, wow, that looks really good. I'm going to go eat there because of it, even just being a chef.
Oh, so you do that too. That's not just an average joke.
I like to see what people are doing. I can sometimes just figure out what a restaurant's doing or how it's going to be by the looks of the food or the atmosphere or whatever. So that's kind of nice. But I mean, I always tell people, I give people always a chance, no matter what. People are like, oh, that place isn't good. I'm like, well, I haven't been there, so I don't really care what you have to say. I want to go see for myself. So pro tip out there.
Even if every customer got like food poisoning, you'd still go.
Food poisoning, no, I might not go. But if they said, oh, it wasn't my thing or too expensive, so a little tip to people out there, go no matter what. If you have not been to a restaurant, don't take other people's word for it. Just go and check it out and make your own rating or your own Yelp review or whatever.
Yeah. You've got that 414 hat on. Your career obviously has been really built in Milwaukee. And so what like if you could describe Milwaukee's food scene, how would you describe it? And how do you think it compares to the rest of the US?
So for Milwaukee, I feel like there's a lot of people that are born and raised here that stay here. They open something up. So you're really getting that person's food and their knowledge, whether they left and came back or whatever. But I feel like the people that open restaurants here, they're really showing their upbringing, or what is close to important to them. You don't see a lot of people opening a restaurant and then doing a concept that they just want to do for fun. It means a lot to them. So I know that is a lot different than, the bigger cities where some of these people are just like, hey, well, we have an Italian restaurant. Let's do an Asian style restaurant. Let's do French and just like cover all the bases. I feel like here it's like they're really special because people are showing you their life in the food. If you think about it, even like my restaurant, like Egg and Flour, it's casual, but it's still pasta, and the basis of that is what I've learned, and basis of sauce and making great pasta. Then we didn't talk about this, but I was an old Jimmy John's employee, and that actually helped in the Egg and Flour concept because it's like fast casual. So it's like every little thing that I did in the career has a part in that restaurant, or it has, I said, we're going to be fast casual. We're serving on trays. They're ordering at the register, and we're going to give them a buzzer, and they're going to come up and get their own stuff. And that's very like a fast casual restaurant, or more of a fast food style. But then the food is we're making our pasta from scratch, and we're making all the sauces and all the garnish and all that. So that's taking it from, a more upscale restaurant, bringing them together. So I feel like what I'm doing is a lot of what other chefs and restaurant owners and stuff like that are trying to tell their story in their restaurants, other than let's just make a bunch of money.
Right. And I think that's definitely cool, being someone in Milwaukee, just knowing that there's that much passion behind it. And do you think the other stuff doesn't exist here because there's just not the population? Do you need a big city to be like, all right, there's not a French thing in this radius, just throw a French one there, it'll do good.
Sure. I mean, I think we have some of that, and we have some of the big chain restaurants and whatnot, the Capitol Grills and like stuff like that. And then there's some more bigger restaurant groups, Bartolotta's and stuff like that. Lowlands group, where they have Benelux and all, they're growing and Bel Airs and all that stuff. But I think it's like, I was so worried. I had 3 locations of Egg and Flour, and I closed 2 of them, and people were like, oh, are you doing okay? Are you fine? Like whatever. And I always thought like, oh, what are people going to think? But I might have started the trend of being like less is more here in the city.
Yeah.
I see other big restaurant groups or people that have multiple locations kind of go back to one, or say, hey, let's have less going on, or just one location, and be okay with it and not feel like you're like a loser or you failed or whatever. It's like, we tried something, it didn't work, and we're still doing something great. But we have some of those, like we have them here. There's restaurants you can go to the burbs and go to an Applebee's and Chili's and all that stuff. Sure. We need that,
Yeah.
I need Olive Garden twice a year. I'm sorry.
As a Sicilian?
It's fine.
Oh my God.
It's fine. It's a cheat day. That's what we call it.
I want to talk about your time at Jimmy John's. I had some time over at Auntie Anne's. So we're like,
I love that.
We're both chefs.
How does Auntie Anne's play into your life today?
That's
you said
fresh,
Jimmy John's.
That's fresh dough, yeah.
Fresh dough, absolutely. Yeah, we do it flour, yeast, hot water. Let it go in that big little stirred thing.
The mixer.
Let it rise, and then you cut.
Strips, right?
Are you good at rolling?
I've never worked at a pretzel shop, but I mean, I would love the recipe if off camera.
Yeah.
We don't want them coming for you.
No, I'll give it to you. I'm trying to find if we have a rope here. I'll show you the pretzel roll technique.
That's legit. We should find something.
Yeah, I
but
think
like
we
she
should.
said, what was your life lessons that you learned from Auntie Anne's?
Life lessons. One, this is an important one. If you don't have a line, people don't come. If you have a line, more people come into line. It's a little counterintuitive.
So
You-
how do you
Supply and
get the
demand.
line going? Are you yelling at them, giving away free lemonades, which are good too?
Yes, there were lemonade samples. There was pretzel samples. It was a lot of samples going. Now, I also learned that myself as a 16-year-old part-time bike mechanic, part-time pretzel roller.
Chef, not pretzel, chef. You were a chef.
I learned that I did not have the same ambition and enjoyment for culinary arts as perhaps you did.
Sure.
Because I was more focused on doing less work. I was a bad worker. And
So no line was good for you. That was a
no
good
line
day.
was good for me, and I enjoyed rolling pretzels. That's what I liked. I didn't like going over to the cash register and
Sure.
having interactions with people.
Customer interaction. And now
Yeah.
look at you. You talk to thousands nightly.
I know it's crazy, but for whatever, when you're in high school, you're kind of
I worked at a pizza shop in high school. I wasn't putting on the white coat. I feel you. I was
Yeah.
slanging pizzas and burgers and all that kind
Can
of
you
stuff.
do the pizza sling?
I can try, but not when it gets, once it's a little bit bigger, I just put it down and say, hey, that's all I got.
Got it.
I mean, I've worked at pizza spots, but a lot of them were not that style, like the movie style where they throw it up in the air and twist it and all that. That's more New York.
What are what's the sort of big secret in Jimmy John's? First of all, can you get sued if you talk about your time working at Jimmy John's as sort of,
No, because the owner that owned all of them when I worked there sold them all. So I have no connection now.
Oh, so Jimmy John's.
What do you
can't
want
say
to?
no.
What do you want to know?
I want to know, like, what's this? Is the bread made there or is
Okay.
it bagged in?
So it actually comes in frozen rods like this big.
Yes.
But this is the secret. So you get the frozen rods in, you lay them out. That was part of my job when you're like a grunt. That was the grunt work.
Yep.
Okay. So making tuna salad and getting the bread ready is like grunt work. And you lay them out, you unthaw them, and then you have to nicely place them on the sheet trays. And then they actually proof them there. So, I mean, it's legit.
What do you
Like,
mean proof
So
them?
proofing is taking it from the size that it was made to letting it rise and get its shape. So it's like steam kind of.
Yeah, so it's just frozen dough essentially.
Yep, but
Okay.
at least they're doing the process, and then after they're proofed, then they have to go into the oven, and that was a really serious thing. Only the managers of the locations took care of the bread.
Really?
Yes, that was their job.
You never got to the level of being
I
able
was
to
not a
take care of it.
for lifer.
You weren't a for lifer. I get it.
Because
I
if
get
you
it.
go up in Jimmy John's world, you can never go back down.
It's like a cult.
It is.
That's really
And
interesting.
you can only move sideways. So you could go to another location, but you can never go down.
That's the Jimmy John's
Logic.
bread trap, finger trap.
That
you
is.
know? Something like that. So
finger
the farther you get, it's like the mafia. The farther you get in, the harder it is to get
To
out.
get out, exactly. And I know, which is crazy, I know some people that are still working at Jimmy John's when I work there.
Really?
They're higher up,
Yeah.
but they're still in the company.
They're putting the bread in the oven.
Are they happy? Are they enjoying it?
I don't know.
Yeah, they're
haven't
putting the
seen
bread
it,
in
but-
the oven.
Guys, I'm really jealous because I was a rejected sandwich artist for Subway. So
Subway?
You got denied.
That's
and
like the-
Hannah also.
Nope, I was a sandwich artist.
what the hell?
You were a sandwich artist. You didn't get the job at
No,
Subway? How do
no.
you not get a job at Subway?
They're always hiring.
yeah.
I was 13
Oh.
or 14. Like they said I wasn't smart enough to
She
operate.
couldn't reach the turbo chef to
Yeah,
pull the toasted
they said that I wasn't old
sandwiches
enough to legally operate the oven.
out. All right, well, not off of your skills then, just your age.
Yeah, but it's my chip on my shoulder. Like I'm pissed.
Why don't you
You
go
know-
work at a Subway for like a week?
Should I?
You should,
Charlie,
just-
I live across the street from a Subway, so see ya.
Just to spite them.
Yeah. Get a night job.
Would
No,
you ever
it's my
go to
day job.
Auntie Anne's and apply just to
So-
see if you got the job?
Actually,
I was thinking of going back to Auntie Anne's. I want to do this show called First Jobs,
Yep.
where people go back and work their first job.
That would be great.
Yeah, and it could be that and just see if people notice, people
If
who
you were behind the register, though, there would be lines.
I know that would be very tough.
you
for
would
me.
want a pretzel from
I don't know.
Charlie.
Yeah,
No, you tell them I'm only rolling, no register work. Put a COVID mask on and roll the
Exactly.
pretzels.
I want
then
to. I
nobody will
want to
buy
be.
it.
I love the art of making pretzels. I really enjoyed that because the big thing with making pretzels is cutting the right size of dough
Sure.
and knowing how far to roll it. And yes, they do have a chart there. They have a chart.
Oh yeah,
you know?
you follow in the circle. I see that. Like I'm very infatuated with fast food, how they run fast food restaurants.
Would you consider Auntie Anne's fast food?
I think Auntie Anne's is the GOAT. I love it.
Do you Wetzel's Pretzels or Auntie Anne's? I
don't think I've ever had that, so I have to say Auntie Anne's.
I don't know if Wetzel's Pretzels rolls them there. I think they have a similar situation with Jim. I don't know.
I have a question for you. You asked about the Jimmy John's secret. I want to know about the pigs in a blanket, pigs in a pretzel.
Yeah,
my favorite thing of all time.
Oh my gosh, at Auntie Anne's.
Yes, it could be 6 a.m. at the airport or 3 a.m, and I'm getting a cup of them.
You know what's really funny about that? Before the pretzel, the wrapped hot dog pretzel situation.
Yep.
My grandpa Bob said to me, he's like, you know what you got to do? You got to get a brat, and then you take the pretzel and you wrap it around the brat. Them will sell like hotcakes. Literally 2 months later, there are hot dogs being rolled. He's like, I told you to do the brat, you know. But
you're like, it's not a brat. It's still a mini hot dog, right? Cocktail weenie at Auntie Anne's.
Well, they have the cocktail weenies, and when I was working there,
they do have the pretzel dog. Yeah, that's right.
When I was, so that's just a normal cut, and that's actually the other chart. I said there's one that you roll the size for a pretzel. The smaller one is for the pretzel bites.
Yep.
And for the
pretzel dog,
and that's just one line. It's a little smaller, but then you just put the hot dog on, and then it's just a rolling.
I think Auntie Anne's is going to owe us a lot. I think there's going to be people rushing to apply to work at Auntie Anne's after this podcast.
It's
hashtag
good.
Sponsored, hashtag ad.
Yeah, hashtag not. We'd love that, though. That would be nice. When I was in high school, and I want to ask you this about Jimmy John's, did you, because I would always overdo it if I was going to a party after I was coming from work, I would make a little bit of a bigger batch that I knew weren't all going to get bought.
Okay.
And then I would bag those suckers up, and I was the most popular guy.
I wish. You know, Jimmy John's, I will say this is, they're on it.
Are they?
Like, if you're making one sandwich while you're on your break, and that's it. That's all you get.
Oh, wow.
There's no sneaking. It's like everyone had their thing. It's like meat guy on the end would wrap and throw it. Then you got your person that would pull the bread out, put the mayo, all the toppings before the meat, because they wouldn't trust you. They're like, "Oh, we need to make money. You're not gonna screw over our meat and cheese ratio."
Yeah.
So
they
then they have someone in the register. That's also grunt work. Is register. Alfredo, there we go.
Oh, he's a cute dog.
One day you'll see how cool this is.
Oh, he likes me.
He does. He loves it.
They have a guy at each stand making sure you're not stealing.
Yeah. So the higher up you go, the farther away from the register you are. So like I always worked up to the meat guy. You put the meat on, final thing, put it on the paper wrap, and then you get to chuck it at the newbie.
Oh, really?
And then they have to catch it.
Oh, that's
I don't know if they still do that, but that's old school Jimmy John's.
I like that.
Hey, sandwich done. Grab it. The worst is when you are just getting started and you have to work the register and you're trying to take change and there's a sandwich coming at you and they don't hold back. They'll throw it. It'll hit you in front of, maybe a group of cute girls or something.
Yeah.
I worked at the one by UWM.
Oh, yeah.
It was like the busiest Jimmy John's of all time.
Really?
Yeah. And it was just nonstop. So you got to be on your game there.
Any Jimmy John's on college campus is like, it's game over.
Yep.
Exactly.
That and Marquette were just huge.
Yeah.
Did you hate on witches?
I didn't really mind it, but they didn't order as much as possible. The sleeper for me is the wheat bread. Really good.
Oh.
Really good to get the wheat bread.
I didn't even know that was an option.
What? You always see it on top when you're in line. Brown. It's the thick cut.
I know. I've always thought it was just like.
I can see why you didn't get that Subway job,
Yeah,
Kelly.
you don't even know about the bread options and you're trying to get in? I don't
know. So when you were... I think how old were you when you started working?
I was 14.
14.
Working at the local pizza spot.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's what you said. It's nice to kind of get that that work ethic in early. Just get, because I feel like in your industry it's like pretty intense, man. You guys have crazy hours,
and it depends on how far you want to take it. Some guys, their dream is to go work in the laboratory style Michelin star restaurants where they're using tweezers and everything's clean, white jacket, like the Bear style. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yes.
So you can take it to some people want to work at a bar and grill on Okauchee Lake their whole life and they're happy with doing burgers and fish fries.
Yeah.
It all depends what you want. You
Right.
know? The work ethic will get you to whatever stage in the culinary world you're going to be, because that doesn't fly everywhere. you know?
Yeah, no, I know. And it's kind of like making it financially in that business. You kind of are looking at the higher end you go, the more risk you have, right?
Oh, yeah.
Whereas if you're on sort of a lower end tier, you can maybe have more profit potential up to a point, but there's a ceiling. Is that kind of the deal?
Well, what I say is, like, imagine being the big fish in the small pond. So maybe I have nothing against people that don't want to work in fine dining.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many different routes you can do in the food world, is what I like too. But like, if you want to be the top guy and your skills are, you can do thousands of burgers, a night or whatever it is, or doing fish fry, that's also a skill in its own. I never knock any of that. I mean, I've done it all from, at Turner Hall, we used to do fish fry and burgers and sandwiches and wraps and all that. But it all depends what you want. You can get sick of that super easily, and then you want to learn more. And the only way you're going to learn more is when it's more intense ingredients, or it's seasonal ingredients, or you're dealing with, breaking down animals and stuff, and you're not getting everything in a box. It's a lot different. But some people don't care. Some people love food enough where that's their job, but they're just trying to make a paycheck in the end. Or there's people that they work at the really high-end restaurants, and they're like, we love working here, and my paycheck is probably a lot less than what it should be.
Folks, excuse the interruption, but I want to let you know that we are powered by Everlight Solar. Everlight Solar has been on our duplex/podcast roof for over 2 years now. And I got to tell you, the savings are great, and saving the planet makes you feel like you can get out of purgatory earlier. So check them out, everlightsolar.com. Hit them up for a free consultation. Folks, have you been working on some projects around the house and thinking your tools aren't working like they used to? Well, you may be due for a trip to the Fleet Farm to check out some brand new power tools. They got a huge selection of powerful, durable tools and accessories from the best brands like Milwaukee, so you'll find the perfect tool you need for your job. You can even find everything to keep them looking good in your garage with tool storage options. Big, small, or portable, you name it, they've got it. Check out their full selection at Fleet Farm, ladies and gentlemen. Finally, folks, if you want to see me on the road, head to charliebarons.com, click on the tour section. I'm coming around the U.S., and I'll see you real quick once. Now it is time to get back to my conversation with Chef Adam Pawlak. Let me ask you this, because I've got a list of things here, and the question is, will it pasta? All right, so how would you work the following items into a pasta dish?
Oh, let's go.
Starting with Barron's Old Fashioned Brandy.
Okay, well, I did this dish on Beat Bobby Flay, the French onion soup pasta. I would probably hit it to deglaze the pan with some of the Barron's Old Fashioned Brandy, and then take a swig of it.
Nice, I like that.
So deglazing the pan.
That's where it goes up in flames.
It will light up, yeah.
I did that with my mom. She was like, you
on purpose?
Just she said, just put a little on, and I did, and then I wasn't expecting it. It was super fun.
Super fun.
Yeah, lost did that
some
thing where
eyebrows.
It wasn't eyebrows. There was some stuff on my shirt that I felt I could smell it, or maybe that was my hair.
That's
I don't know. Okay, I like it.
Okay, that's a good one.
What would it taste like? Would it have hints of brandy or anything in it, or what would it?
It would, because you're cooking the alcohol out, and the Barron's brandy is great. Has a lot of flavor, nice and sweet caramel tones to it. I'll be official sponsor.
Yeah, thank you
for the pasta, and it all cooks out, so it's not strong. It just adds to the depth of flavor.
So, and is it mostly when you see that when you're in restaurants where they do the thing with the booze and the pop, is it mostly for the showmanship of it, or is it more for the flavor?
There's a lot of flavor that goes into it. It's like the vodka sauce pasta, or it's like doing the bananas Foster. There's always a reason behind it.
Yeah.
Other than, Salt Bae, I think that's the only technique that doesn't matter in the food world.
Okay.
But if they're doing it, it goes way back. It was meant for something.
Yeah.
Do that again, Charlie.
Yeah, can we get you?
Oh, yeah. Hang on.
Some driftwood scrap.
Get that bounce.
I like that.
I want to get Pepper Bay though. I feel like that's a bit like
you should. Maybe that's an open market.
That looks weird. All right, Culver's Butterburger. Will it pasta?
which is one of my favorites.
It's beautiful.
I got the cheeseburger on the hand. Okay, let's see here. This is tough.
Is that the Culver's?
It's not the Culver's burger.
Okay.
It actually looks more
nice...
like a Whopper, but, I'll take Culver's over BK any day. But this is just the general, meat patty, cheese, condiments, whatever.
The great American tradition.
Sesame seed bun. I don't know. That's tough.
That's tough. You couldn't do anything. You couldn't somehow make noodles out of the bread, like redo the bread, like crunch it up or something, push it through a pasta maker, and somehow it comes out pasta.
That's pretty good. I was thinking I would just take the meat out, cut that up, and start. That's the base of my bolognese sauce.
Okay.
Because Culver's using the beef. It's all good.
Yeah.
Good grade A American cattle.
Yep. Some cheese on that.
Yep.
How do you what's your go-to order from Culver's?
Oh, someone just asked me this too. This is a good one. Okay. Triple value basket, only ketchup and cheese on it. I know that they do triple. I know some people might be like, that's a lot, but it's perfect. I get an order of the small cheese curds. They always ask, do you want that swap for fries? I say, no, I want both. And then I like a 2-piece spicy tender, or this goes back and forth, the pretzel bites, which no one might not know, but the pretzel bites at Culver's are top tier.
You know what? That I've had the pretzel bites,
okay,
but I've never ordered the pretzel bites.
Okay, you're going today.
Okay.
Pretzel bites, amazing. The cheese sauce is always perfect. They're always soft.
Oh, that's
great. But I rotate from the spicy buffalo tenders and the pretzel bites. Or if you're feeling really frisky, go for the pot roast sandwich.
Never had that either.
It's a sleeper.
Never. You know what? I feel like my Culver's game is low, because what I was going to say is if the walleye is on the menu, first of all, I'm just getting it out of respect.
Of course.
And
out of respect for Craig.
Respect for Craig or Lent or whatever.
Yep.
But then and it doesn't have to be Friday. It doesn't have to be, because
absolutely not.
I think it's on all through Lent. 40 days, I think they have it. But anyways,
I think people need to start eating fish fry on other days than Friday.
I agree. But then does it kind of like, does that downplay the quality of the fish fry in Wisconsin?
Not at Culver's.
We know that's true.
We can't deny that. But I don't know. I just think it's like, let's start the Thanksgiving revolution.
Where you can just do Thanksgiving every week.
In the middle of summer.
Oh, what, summer Thanksgiving?
Why not?
Well, summer, because I don't know. I feel like it's a different vibe. The nice thing about Thanksgiving is you get people that say like, well, I got to be fully clothed for the next X amount of months. I'm going to go to town on this. It brings up like a little bit of...
We've been having a rainy, gloomy summer, I feel like. Why not put together some Thanksgiving food and then invite some friends over, and then just don't leave the house for a couple days?
I don't disagree. And I feel like all the food should be based on like outdoor grill type stuff.
That'd be fun.
Just add a little something different.
Grilled turkey.
That would be great. Or the deep fried.
Yeah. Have you done that? I've never done the deep fried.
I've done a lot of deep fried things. I've not done the deep fried turkey. That's a pro deep fryer situation.
Yeah.
You're going to start something on fire.
Oh yeah. What's next?
Pasta? Next is custard. Willet pasta.
Oh man, that is tough. So I've done dessert pasta before. So I did a chocolate pasta dough. I filled it with like the ricotta, which is like what you do for like cannoli. And then you have ravioli. And what we could do is take the custard and melt it slightly. And that could be the sauce.
Yum.
Chocolate ravioli. And we could put like pistachios, the cherry. It could be cannoli ravioli.
Cannoli-oli.
Yeah, there
we
you
need
go.
him to say this. We did this cannoli ravioli on air.
Cannoli ravioli, I feel like could be a whole other... First of all, that could be the name of your next restaurant.
That could. Or
ravioli.
My next dog.
Or...
maybe cannoli.
Are you getting another dog now?
I don't think so.
Is this... Oh,
but if anyone has
he's posing. He's like, how could you say I can't have a brother or sister?
I'm sorry. But if anyone out there has a dachshund that wants to hang out, maybe he hasn't met a dachshund yet. Another one.
I have
Really?
a friend that has a dachshund. His name's Basil.
All right.
There you
Basil and
go.
Alfredo.
Oh my God, shut up.
That's beautiful. Are there Dachshund hangouts out there? Is that kind of a thing?
German Fest, I hear, is
Really?
a big one. He might go in the race. We're seeing, I think that's like,
The Wiener race?
yeah.
That's awesome, man.
I don't know if he's not really set up for that. Today he came in at 9 pounds
9?
at the vet.
You weigh him. You
At the
went to
vet, not me. I'm
I was
not-
like, you're weighing him every day?
Every day we got to get you up, but he's a mini. So, I mean, we'll see. I think he's really good around dogs.
So
So maybe we take him to the Dachshund race.
that's great. Yeah, I would like to see that. I really think you should. 2 more.
Okay.
Dive Bar Pizza.
Oh, that's easy. Dive Bar Pizza is great. We actually do a pizza pasta where we put all the ingredients onto it with tomato sauce, charred pepperoni, green peppers. I would take that off, everything off, and then make some really nice like rigatoni pasta or something thick and make a sauce out of it. Dive Bar Pizza is like I got pizza on my other hand, so we got all the bases covered.
I didn't even write these down. I'm just
I
looking
love
through
this.
your tattoos is really it. Fish fry. Can you do a fish fry? Will it pasta?
Fish fry. Yes, I think it will. What I would do is probably a nice like lemon light pasta, a lot of lemon, a lot of butter, oil, and maybe put like a nice piece of walleye over the top for a little bit of texture there. But these are tough. And this is someone that has made over 400 different pasta specials at Egg and Flour. And I've never been like, hey, let's do a fish fry one. But this is inspiring. Maybe I need to now. A tartar sauce, like cream sauce.
Yeah, that I feel like that would be really good, man.
Are you okay?
I'm big on tartar. Some people are no tartar sauce. I'm all about that.
I'm
tartar
all about
sauce.
it. With the French fries too. Are you against baked fish fries? Do you ever throw
No.
one of those in like once a year or something?
Yes, sometimes. Just
Okay.
Usually
He's
I
getting
get
upset about baked
no,
fish fry.
I'm not getting upset. Usually I will get the fish fry.
Yep.
But there's nothing wrong against getting it baked, or because a fish boil is a whole situation. Have you
Which
ever
is
been
great.
to a fish boil?
Yes, which is awesome.
That's an incredible thing. And what is it that they put on? If you've never seen a fish boil, they have this huge
Vat.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. And inside is like all the white fish and everything. And then sort of in the same way you take the booze, the brandy, and put it on
It explodes.
it explodes.
Well, or it boils over, we should say. Yeah.
It boils over. But what do they pour on that fire to
I
make
honestly
it go?
don't know. I'm not a fish boil pro.
I think it's something like it's some kind of diesel fuel
All
of
right.
some sort. It's really gnarly, but apparently the purpose of that is to just boil off all the froth that sort of floated to the top.
Instead of skimming it. It's like the cool way of doing the skimming technique.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what would you say is, I don't know, maybe we can say this. What's your favorite fish fry in the Milwaukee area? Because I know you have your hot spots up north,
Remember,
obviously.
don't start controversy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
Never mind.
I know.
Okay.
Legally, he's not allowed.
I don't know that I can pick that.
All right, breaded. All right, we'll do this. I'll give you some rapid fire.
Yeah, all right.
Breaded or battered?
Battered.
And tartar or no tartar? And
Tartar.
Okay. Cod or walleye?
Walleye. Tomatoes or applesauce or no?
With the potato pancakes.
Okay.
So potato pancakes or fries?
I potato pancakes, but I'm getting both, man.
Yeah.
I feel like I actually don't think that's a fair question, and I don't think you should really ever put anybody in that position to say potato pancakes or fries.
I hate that. They should just bring it. It
I
should
know.
just come one potato pancake with the little ramekin of applesauce.
Some people are very against potato pancakes.
What about perch?
Perch? Love perch.
Perch is my favorite.
I mean, perch and walleye. It's I think it's the same like subgenre of fish.
Sure.
I don't know, or subspecies or whatever.
It's like the one fish you fry with the skin on. It's incredible.
Wait, I have not fried perch with the skin on.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Should I try that next time? Do you ever catch your perch and do it like that?
I never have, but I get my perch from St. Paul Fish Market, and they do a really good job.
Well, that's good.
And
You've never had any desire to go fishing for some perch? And then
I would love to go. I haven't gone fishing in a long time.
Oh,
I'm an
really?
outdoorsy guy. I was a Boy Scout.
Nice.
I could handle it.
All right. Well, that might be something that we should do.
Go perch fishing. That's one part of the episode, and then we'll fry it up.
Yeah. That's always fun, man. We do that every year up north. My dad will go catch a bunch of fish for the family, and obviously 1 of 12 with spouses and everything. There's probably like 30 people at the end of the day. Maybe
Does he
more.
do all the cleaning and all that?
He likes to go out and catch them, and then I do a lot of the cleaning.
All right.
And he'll come, like I'll go out with him. He'll catch a bunch of panfish, and then I'll be like, I'm going for that muskie, or I'm going for northerns or bass or something.
Yeah.
And he's doing the work over there, and I'm like kind of doing that because I don't feel like cleaning fish, because it's like typically whoever catches them cleans them.
Yeah.
But then I get back and he'll do the thing, like, all right, I'm going to go clean the fish.
And you're like, I'm on the tartar sauce.
Yeah. Well, I'll either try to just, I'll either guilt into, all right, I'll come help you.
Yep.
Or if I don't do it, he'll be like, get a knife. And I'm like, God damn it. All right.
Of course. Yeah. Because it's better than just throwing them at the fish house and paying the fee.
Yeah.
That's just laziness.
No, I don't even think that exists but I see what you're saying. Yeah.
You drop your catch off and they clean it for you.
I've never been to a place like that where they catch your fish or where they clean your stuff.
Yeah.
Where do they do that?
I don't remember. I was up north. Maybe it was like around Door County area, but yeah, whatever you caught, you could bring it to them and they'll clean it for you. Then you go and you get to take it with you and it's all ready to go.
That's not a bad job, man.
No.
Actually, cleaning fish. I don't know.
All day.
Yeah, that is a bad job. I was just complaining about cleaning fish with my dad. Now I'm saying,
now you want in.
Well, I didn't know you could get paid for that. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, there is just something about a nice fish fry though up north, fresh catch, everything makes you feel real good about life.
So rye bread, then you throw that in.
I'm
there?
all about the rye bread.
Okay.
Are you? What you said? Purchase your number one fish.
I would say, because it's just like if someone has on their menu, that they're doing everything else right.
Yeah,
if they're
that's
willing
true.
to have perch on the menu.
Why is it that is it so much harder to get walleye or perch? Why is that? Is that just the Great Lakes fishery?
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to blame them. I would just say price point. Maybe people just want cod because they know it's something that they can get out there and they can price at a good point. I think a good fish fry price is $11.99 to $12.99. If you start doing walleye and perch, you're raising those prices.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of fish fries are getting up there to the $17.99 range.
Oh, man.
I feel like I've been seeing a lot of those.
All right. Well, is it a 3-piece cod or just a 2? Or
you're getting a good deal.
Portion.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, there's no blame on the fisheries, or on the fishermen, but I think it's the fishery. I just don't think you can always take. There was a perch shortage recently. There's a lot of shortages of fish in the Great Lakes.
That's crazy to me. But I mean, the walleye is great, and you always get a big piece. I know we used to do that a lot, where you just do the whole side, and it curls up really nice, and it's just more bang for your buck.
Yeah, I totally agree. All right, listen, if somebody is out there and they are just trying to get into this whole cooking situation thing, how should they start? As
a job or for fun?
For fun.
For fun. Okay. What I always say is always cook what you like to eat.
Okay.
So that's the start. I like to
kind of like invest in what you know, cook in what you like.
Cook in what you like, because if you start cooking stuff that just looks interesting and then you eat it and you don't really like it, you're not going to have fun. You're going to be like, I did all this work and it's not what I want. But, if you like Italian food, start cooking with Italian food. But I say go online first and watch videos. It is so easy, and not the TikTok big crazy cooking videos where they're just quick shots, but go to Bon Appetit on YouTube, or go to America's Test Kitchen. Really good. That's old school public television. That's where I learned how to cook when I was a kid. And you could actually learn how to cook things instead of just doing what do they call it? The stunt food, where they're just making giant things or making things with a bunch of cheese, or what you were saying, cheeseburgers on pasta would fall into that stunt food. But get a foundation, cook things that you want to cook, and start with basics and start adding from there. But I will say, use fresh herbs, use a lot of citrus and, acidity. So vinegar and stuff like that, and spice. Those 3 things can really up your game, and don't be scared of salt.
All right.
So those are my 4 things.
I like it. Do you have a go-to meal though? Try this with all those things.
Yeah. So if you go to my Instagram page, I have a lot of videos. I'm a chef for a company called Omnivore, and we actually make videos for the home cook. So it's me doing them, but it's showing how to build that flavor and doing something from grilled cheese and tomato soup to pasta to how to sear a steak, all that kind of stuff. So I would say go on there. That's a little plug for myself.
I like that.
But,
no, I was going to open up the plug.
That's a good way to learn to start cooking and doing things that actually, you don't feel intimidated with. But yeah, and go to farmers market, especially here now, and get fresh stuff. Don't always try to think that you need to hit the giant grocery store and just fill the cart. Go do some farmers market shopping.
And I think the tools are somewhat important. What you're doing, what are the most important things you should have to cook? Is it a good knife?
Okay.
Is it a
good chef knife? Good cast iron pan. I would say they don't use it too much in restaurants anymore, but at home a wooden spoon is very, very good. I really like a microplane. So if you don't know what that is, like it's essentially a grater that just is more fancy.
Yeah.
That's really good for like lemon zest, for grating garlic, for grating cheese, all different
the long
stuff.
thing with it looks like a file.
Yeah, you could make a really fancy coleslaw for fish fry on that.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah, we never even talked about coleslaw. But yeah, just the basics, just put the money into the basics of really good stuff. And then maybe you can kind of cheap out on, strainers and things like that. But
on the pan, the cast iron pan, that's nice because it's not, some of those pans have the non-stick ones, right?
Yep.
Don't
the
those
Teflon?
Don't they have stuff that's not good for you on it?
Yeah, now they're not really doing it too much, but I'm sure everyone has a Teflon pan in like their mom's like drawer. You always see it. The handle's slightly melted from being on the stove.
Yeah.
The plastic part.
Full of PFAS and
it's scratched, and she's always like, don't use that metal spoon on my pan.
Right.
That's the pan that you don't want.
Okay.
But I say big cast iron.
I have a cast iron.
Yep.
And, but people will clean them with soap.
No.
How do you clean a cast iron pan and feel like, okay, this is clean and I'm doing this right and no one's going to look at this and say it's disgusting. I'm not ruining the pan.
All right. So best way that I think that you can do it is you can put like 2 inches, depending on how thick it is, but an inch or two of water, put on the stove, let it boil for like 20 minutes. That boiling water actually will pick up all the stuff that's on the pan. Dump it. Wipe it really good, and then re-oil it and put it in your oven at like 400 and let it get seasoned again.
Wow. Okay.
But it's the boil off. Never use soap. Never use anything at all on a cast iron because it pulls it in, and that's what your flavor is going to be. I have a funny story for you if you want.
Well, I've had a lot of Dawn flavored
I got
meals.
A good one. This is for my dad, Mike, out here that he probably won't ever remember, but my brother will. He had this cast iron pan. And he would always wash it, right? And he would always do his scrambled eggs for us in it. And every time the eggs tasted like soap. And he never believed us. And I'm like, I'm not eating these. You keep cleaning the pan with soap. And scrambled eggs were always Dawn dish soap, like you were saying. And sorry, Mike.
Yeah,
sorry, Dad.
Well, your dad, for his entire life, he was probably doing it, so he just thought that that's how eggs tasted.
Yeah. And his mom was 100% Sicilian. Spoke the language.
Well, he should know.
He should know, and he is not the best cook. I will say that. My mom is the one that showed me everything. But yeah, that was just a funny thing about the Dawn dish soap. I think that haunted me to never use soap on any pan at this point.
Yeah.
Now I'm just scraping away.
That makes a lot of sense. And what kind of oil do you use, by the way?
Okay, so it depends on what you want, but I always like to use like a neutral canola oil or something. Don't use olive oil if you're cooking on a high heat. I like to use the olive oil for like finishing things or making vinaigrettes or sauces, stuff like that. But vegetable oil, canola oil, I really like. It's kind of like tough because the new age, but peanut oil to cook in peanut oil is great, or corn oil, not the healthiest, but high heat, you can get it really, really hot, good for searing.
Yeah. That's good. Cause this is where I'm in my cooking journey.
Okay.
I've got eggs And I've been making them with olive oil because I just don't have any other olive oil, or I don't have any other oil, and I'm too lazy, and I just make them. And then you get the black eggs because the oil burns, and then the whole deal.
Okay, so what kind of eggs do you like to make? Like, what's the style? We'll give you a pro tip here.
Okay, here's what usually happens.
Okay,
I put them on, and I start flipping them, kind of, and I screw it up, and it's gonna be a scramble now.
So you go for like over easy that slowly turns into scramble, or do you like a sunny side up? Or
I like sunny side down. I'm not much for a runny yolk kind of guy.
You're not a yolk guy?
I'm not a runny yolk guy.
All right.
Not at this point in my life. I got to mature into that. But
yeah, when you get older, you're going to be eating a lot of yolks.
I'm going to be one of those guys.
With your bread,
dipping it in.
Oh, man. With the coffee in one hand, eggy, yolky bread in the other.
And sometimes the real pros dip that eggy, yolky bread into the coffee. And then,
that's old school. They look pretty disgusted over there.
That's
you'll grow into it.
Yeah, you're
gonna find yourself dipping your eggy yolk bread into your black coffee one day.
It's just a stage of life.
So, quick question.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I was going to help him with his eggs.
Keep going. I have a question for you after.
So nonstick, I will. This isn't a plug or anything, but the Hexclad pans. That's the one that Gordon Ramsay talks about all the time. Really good for cooking eggs. What you do if you like your over medium or your whatever, is put a little bit of oil and butter in there and put the eggs in when the pan's still cold and let them cook when the pan's heating up.
Really?
That's how I like to do my sunny side eggs, because what most people do is they heat it up, they drop the eggs in, it cooks, and then all that egg white that's by the yolk never gets cooked. And you're like kind of fighting with it. And you're trying to move it over and it never, it looks like snot. That's why I think people don't like it.
That's why I don't. It's exactly why I don't
I
like
hate that too. But if you put your sunny side up eggs in with a little oil and like a knob of butter in a cold pan and let them cook and heat up with the pan as it heats up, you'll have a way better finish.
Thank you for that tip. That's really good.
When you hit that maturity when you're eating sunny side, remember that.
I'm getting there though.
But there's nothing wrong with a good scramble.
No, there's not. My scramble, there's probably a lot of things wrong with, but a good scramble, absolutely not.
No, exactly.
Colleen,
what was your question?
Earlier, when you were describing your upbringing, you were saying that you were 75% Sicilian.
Yep.
Do you have a chip on your shoulder towards Italians?
No, I'm not that serious about it. I'm not the one that wears like the jumpsuit and the little Sicilian horn with my hair. I mean, clearly I don't look. I should have took my mom's last name, but my dad would have been mad. Maybe for the Dawn dish soap thing, I should have switched. My mom's last name's Gazzana.
Yeah.
So if I had that, if it was Adam Gazzana, people would be like, oh, of course, pasta and whatever. But no, I'm not super serious into that. I love Italian food, Sicilian food, the country itself, all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, my family, I'm part Italian and part Sicilian. Yep. And so when my grandpa met my mom, who is Sicilian, was like, yeah.
That was a spit, by the way, if anyone didn't know.
Yeah, I heard it. I didn't see it, but I got it.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Yeah, we're not that serious about it, but I know some people are, I
think the Italians are more so than the Sicilians.
Probably.
Yeah.
We're just happy to be Sicilian and in there, and it's okay.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, listen, man, before I let you go, where do you kind of see yourself sort of going at this point? Are you like happy with the one restaurant? I know you do a lot of private chef stuff. Is that like, you're like, yes, this is it. This is what I want to maintain and be there. Or is there another place that you want to go, a different direction, different kind of restaurant, anything?
Sure. Yeah. So for me, like some people know me, I mean, we didn't really talk about, which is fine. It's the great thing not to, but a lot of the TV competition stuff is what I really like to do. And I'm going to try to do more so of that. That's not like a long-standing thing. I would love to have like my own show maybe of hosting or touring or traveling to restaurants and whatnot. But in the actual career world, I love the private chefing. I'm in people's homes or doing corporate events all the time and cooking for new people. And that just means I get to make new menus every time I'm doing that, or I get to try something that maybe I want to do at a restaurant in the future or whatever. The private chefing is great. Meet a lot of new clients, meet a lot of really interesting people, get to be in a lot of houses that I probably will never own myself. So it's kind of cool to be in a house that's, 15 to 20,000 square feet and their kitchen's nicer than mine at the restaurant.
Yeah.
Which is always fun. But one day I always say I do want to have a more upscale fine dining restaurant in the city. I don't want to open it anywhere else. I want to do it in Milwaukee, and I want to just take everything it's pretty much a culmination of everything that I've learned and done and put it into that restaurant. Like we were talking about earlier, a lot of chefs want to tell their story through their food, and I want to be able to have that opportunity. I hope the restaurant scene in Milwaukee stays booming and it's exciting, but that's the goal.
And with the show concept of it, I guess, so some people view doing the TV shows and doing the social media as sort of a means to an end.
Yep.
But other people view it as like part and parcel with what they're doing. So you kind of put yourself more on the latter end of that.
I like to do both. Like, obviously, like I love throwing on the white jacket, doing a fine dining dinner for, 10 courses for people. But I like coming on and doing a podcast or going on a TV show or showing some personality or showing to tell the story. It helps with that. I don't want to, it's not a sellout thing. I think people got out of that mindset. Early on, they're like, oh, you're going on TV and going on a show, you're a sellout. Why don't you just grind in a kitchen and do that only? It's like, yes, back then that was a big thing. But look at all these big time chefs now. That's what they're doing.
Right. And there's more big time chefs because of these shows and because of social media.
And there's also a ton of big time chefs that no one even knows about except if you go to their restaurant, which is totally okay as well.
What's the favorite show that you've been on?
My favorite show that I was on, I would say I loved being on Beat Bobby Flay. That was really fun. It was just the one episode, which is I did 3. I did Beat Bobby Flay, I did Super Chef Grudge Match, and Hell's Kitchen. Super Chef was probably my favorite because I won 10 grand and I won the opponent chef's knife. So that was good.
I like that element of that show.
I can't say that
raises the stakes.
Yeah, I can't say that that's not. I can't say that the other ones are my favorite when I actually won money and won the show. Hell's Kitchen was awesome because it was a season, and I watched that show my whole life. So being able to be on it and like kind of live it, it was more so funny than surreal. I was just like, man, I'm actually doing the same challenges and seeing people argue and fight like I did when I was watching it. Was a good time. I just never thought that I would have the opportunity. And then when I got on, it was just mind blowing and obviously helped the career. But I like the one-off shows. I don't know if I want to do any more season stuff.
That's a commitment right there.
It is. And it's like, you're showing more than just your food at that point. You need to be so on point of what you say, what you do, how you interact. And that actually helps you get through on most of these shows is like, it's not just your food.
Yeah.
That's why I like Beat Bobby Flay. It's like you come in, you cook, they judge it. If they like it, you move on. And if you make good food in the second round, you win. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a quick, tight show and you got it. And obviously Milwaukee just had Top Chef here and all that sort of stuff. Did you watch the season? Yeah.
Of course.
What'd you think?
I watched the season. I know Dan Jacobs, who was on the show. So it's always fun to see someone that, on
Are you guys
TV.
Buddies?
I would say we're buddies. Yeah. I mean, we're good. He actually called me a lot and asked me about stuff because he just wanted to know kind of how the world works after you're on TV.
Right.
He did some Beat Bobby Flay, but Top Chef season or a show that you're pretty much a cast member.
Right.
You're not competing. You're like one of the cast members. Had some questions, but I've known him for a long time. He's always been good to me and I've been good to him, but wanted to support and wanted to see Milwaukee like shine. I was more excited about that. Sorry, Dan, but just more excited about them showing what we do here, showing the city, and doing cool challenges. And all the restaurants that they went to and showcase is really good for us. But it just was the icing on the cake that he got, to the finale, which is awesome.
Yes.
It keeps you kind of watching too.
It definitely does, especially given the fact that it's based here too, and you kind of, even if you're not from Wisconsin, watching it, you kind of had that sort of hometown thing.
Oh, definitely.
Going. Do you think they did a good job of reflecting Wisconsin in the show?
I think they did. I think they could have gone. I mean, you're going to agree with me. They probably could have gone north a little bit more.
Yeah,
and showcase a little bit more. I mean, it is national television, but I think they could have done a little bit more in Door County, or you probably have some parts of the state that you probably should have talked to them and said, hey, even though you were on the show.
I wasn't consulted on that end of it, but I think what you're running into, I think what you're dealing with in a lot of that is sort of proximity to
production and
production,
equipment, all that,
trucks, all that. And that kind of is sort of a larger conversation for Wisconsin in the film industry and having film credits and having infrastructure available for that kind of thing and telling Wisconsin stories. And this is an interesting tangent, but I think like if Wisconsin, you know, as a state decides like that these stories are important and up north is important, to kind of invest in that and tell like our politicians, and this isn't a right or a left thing, but they're kind of in this place where they're sort of figuring out, do we want a film industry here? And what that really is saying is, do we want to tell deeper Wisconsin stories as opposed to just
not
scratching
the basic
the
stuff and all the farm, you know, all the farm. I know they went to a farm that was in Milwaukee. That's great. They did that, but it's like, go to these farms that are producing, you know, the country's like steak of corn or wheat or whatever it is. It's like, show that off. Or like you were saying, maybe some of the Great Lakes, they didn't show too much of that. You know, it's like, we have the Great Lakes here and Lake Michigan. And like, they showed views of it. Yeah. The view, but what's in it that makes it special, or like what's around it, or, you know, this is your specialty. I felt like everything they produced, they did a great job, and they had a lot of great stories that they told. I just wish it was like twice as long, and that's kind of the nice thing about Wisconsin. I think everybody who watched it thought it was great. Yeah. And I think the people who are here, I think it's a blessing to a certain degree that you're like, you could have shown so much more. Yeah. Because we have really a lot in this state. Well, and you're not going to make everyone happy too. I would have hated to be that, you know, that scouter.
Impossible.
Of like where to go, I'm sure they ask all the people about where they should go or what they should be doing. It's like, how do you decide?
Well, and being in that industry, I know a big way you do decide is by budget, by number of travel days, by ease of which you can get a grip truck to a certain place, you know. And
it's all logistics too.
It is.
Yeah, of course.
It's so much of it is that. Yeah. And but anyway, I thought they did a great job, and hopefully
it's huge that the show like that is here. That's the thing that people don't understand. I think people take things like now it's new age. Everyone takes things for granted, but it's like, this is Top Chef, or this is, you know, bigger things. I mean, obviously we have the RNC here. We're going on right now. It's like, no matter what side you're on, it's just crazy that our city is gained that. I've lived here my whole life. I know that we didn't have anything going on. Summerfest was our biggest thing.
Yes, I know. And it really, I think, is showcasing Milwaukee in an incredible way, and Wisconsin larger. And I just think that people are seeing it on a big scale, and it's only going to continue to grow and get bigger. And then it's going to be the kind of thing where there's a lot of people here, and then you do all these people, these transplants. Can you imagine that when Milwaukee's a city where like, these transplants?
Oh man, yeah, like
all these people
the
coming
Denver
into
transplant talk that a couple of years ago. Everyone's moving to Denver. Yeah. Like everyone's moving to Milwaukee.
Yeah.
We'll get some culture here. And I'd like to teach people about fish fries and, and drinking beer and tailgating.
Absolutely, man. I'm excited for it. Last question. We have this question that we do in every episode.
Starting now.
What makes you say cripes? Not what makes you say cripes, but what makes you say
like in a bad way.
Well,
can I have more than one?
Yeah. What grinds your gears?
Okay.
What gets you going?
Not that you can really stop it, but traffic is bad. I would say traffic that you're not expecting, like a car accident or something.
Or like RNC traffic.
That's a perfect example. But we know about it. You know, I would say unexpected traffic.
Unexpected traffic.
Yeah. If you're the guy that drives in traffic every morning to work, but still gets mad every day to work, maybe you should just change the routine or something. But definitely that.
That's actually a very fun one, because you are the traffic that you're upset about. You know?
You just need to stay off the road if you're mad. My second one, now that I got the new dog, I go to places where other dogs are, and I will say people that don't clean up after their dogs.
Oh, so you can really
and I think I've really been like, cripes.
Oh, nice.
Like,
so
why
you've
is this happening?
you've let it come out.
I think so.
And was there. So you could have said, oh, crap. That would have been really on the nose. But
it's Cripes. And we're not talking about, some like little rabbit turds. We're talking about where, like the Great Dane has came through and laid his mark. You just wonder what their house looks like if they're not even going to clean up some grass.
Is this just a dog park thing?
No.
Is this
where
all
I live,
the way around?
I've seen it, where I live around some of the dog stores that I've gone to where, if there's heavy dog traffic.
Yeah.
Or maybe, I would say anyone would say Cripes. Maybe if you step in it, that's more of that Homer Simpson kind of scene.
Mm-hmm. And then use it. What is the mentality of somebody to just like let it sit there? I feel like as soon as one dog does it and somebody sees that one dog did it, and then it's just free for all. Then everyone's going to do it.
You know what everyone's going to say? I forgot. I didn't have my bags on me.
Why are you taking your dog out if you don't have your poop bags?
Exactly.
Here's a question. Have you ever, this is a how Midwest are you question.
Okay.
Your dog locks and loads right next to that Great Dane. Poop. Do
I know what you're going to ask.
Do a double scooper?
Oh, man.
Well, the bags for Alfredo versus...
Yeah.
Oh, no, we got the good green ones.
You get the good green ones. Everybody's got the green ones. You put the hand in and it goes to like your forearm and you just, the inside out deal. That's very classic. It's kind of like you want to teach them a lesson by leaving it. I guess it depends on how old it is.
If it's a nice like cow pie type, you can do a throw with it. You've seen the cow pie.
Might be easier.
Toss?
Yep, might be easier. If it's fresh and soft, I'm not touching it.
No, if it's still smelling, if it's still warm,
And actually, he's like a little bougie dog because he doesn't even go up to other dogs. What are we calling it? Cow pies.
Really?
And even mess with them.
No,
he's too good for that.
Wow, most dogs eat them.
I know, and he doesn't.
Good for him.
He's good. We got to keep him healthy. He's small.
Knows his territory. I like it.
Yeah.
Are those like bags? Those green ones? Are those biodegradable?
Those are. And I get them at like 500 at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the ones that I get actually have a scent on them.
Yep.
They smell good.
Yep. They're not
good.
like amazing, but they mask the odor well. Like it's
no, they
not,
don't smell good. They just don't smell like cow pies.
They're kind of like hefty bags where it's like they have a scent to them, but it's not
scent blocker.
Oh, that's great.
But the thing for me is, okay, what would you do if you had your dog and there's a garbage can outside? Do you take it in and put it in your own garbage? I just throw it in the garbage can that's out by the grass.
Here's the thing that drives me nuts when you're hiking and you see like just bags of dog crap on the trail.
You might as well leave the crap.
Yeah. I mean, why?
Who are these? Whose children are these?
Who is picking it up and then leaving it there?
If it's an out and back and you know you're going to come back, then you grab it on the way down, but you don't want to hold the poop with you the whole time.
She's a dog pro.
No, I don't have a dog. I don't do that.
Okay.
But we do it with like like my parents' dogs, but
you're the person leaving it on the trail.
Saying, like,
down, and she's making an excuse calling it down and back.
Yeah,
it's easier to find the dog bag than it is the dog crap.
I understand that.
All right.
I just did it 2 weeks ago.
But why is it even necessary if the scent blocker is on the bag?
What do you mean? No, the thought is like I want to pick it up. I want to take the poop. I don't want to leave it, but I don't want to like go on a walk. When we did it, we were on a run. So it's like I'm not going to run with shit in my hand.
I suppose.
Like because also
what if the trail isn't like a down and back?
Then you take it
like
with you.
Then okay.
Yeah.
You know your trail. If you're taking your dog on a walk, you know what trail you're doing.
I like the people. I get a kick out of the people that train their dog to like go in the woods, and so that like
they hide it.
Yeah, like go make it impossible for me to find this.
My parents, they used to live in a cul-de-sac where across the street didn't have any houses on it, so all the neighborhood dogs were trained to go, and it was like city, whatever. But then they would rotate who did the poop, so you'd take a shovel, and you would everybody would be across the street.
Wow.
So their lawns wouldn't get messed up.
So it's like, hey, let's all just destroy this city property right here, and then our lawns are nice and green.
But I said they rotate of who picks it up. So but they get picked up. It's not like it's just a shit field.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's how it is at my place. So we have a little dog park area, but he doesn't like, I don't think a lot of people take it there because it's just like the AstroTurf covered in cow pies and pee and all that. So again, he's like, where are you taking me? But then there's like this big grass square that all the dogs pretty much go out to, and he's good with that. But I feel like we need to be better with picking that up.
Yeah.
Just as a team. You know who you are if you're watching this. You live where I live. Clean up your stuff.
That's good. That's a good PSA. I like that on this largely culinary podcast. We also discussed dog crap. That's perfect.
I love that.
Dude, thank you so much for coming in, man.
Thanks for having me.
You.
Fredo's knocked out finally.
Yeah. All right. Huge thanks to Adam and little Alfredo for coming on the podcast. He's a cute little guy. Make sure you follow Adam at Adam_Pawlak 23. You can find him on Instagram and all the other social media sites. And of course, check out his restaurant. Check out Egg and Flour in Bayview. That's a neighborhood in Milwaukee for those of you who don't know, and it's a fantastic spot. Check it out. Also, folks, make sure you follow the Cripescast. We are on all the platforms, YouTube as well. Just look for @Cripescast. All right, we'll see you guys next week. Watch out for them deer.
So roll out the barrel and get the band brewing. Life's got you down, just keep her moving. It's on Wisconsin, the Badgers say it's the old Wisconsin Jubilee.
You know, sometimes when you're ice fishing, you put your foot in the walleye hole and go ass over tea kettle and you think you're done. No, you gotta keep her moving.